I didn't mean for it to happen. It was so horrible. I'm so sorry.
No one expects their life to unravel before breakfast, but mine did. It was a gray Saturday morning, the kind where even the sky seems half asleep. I was in the kitchen making coffee, scrolling through emails like any other responsible, boring adult. The house was quiet, peaceful. Then the front door slammed, hard enough to shake the frames on the wall. I didn't look up at first, figured it was a draft or maybe our neighbor dropping something off. But then I heard footsteps, uneven, heavy, dragging. When I turned, I froze. Mariel, my wife, my partner, my steady, brilliant Mariel, stood in the doorway looking like she'd been thrown through the night and barely landed back on her feet. Her hair was tangled. Mascara smeared like bruised shadows under her eyes. Her dress was rumpled, creased, smelling like she'd slept in it or passed out in it. But the smell that hit first was alcohol, strong, acidic, impossible to ignore. "Morning," she slurred, kicking off her heels. One shot across the hall and hit the wall with a loud thud. I just stared at her, not blinking, not breathing. She laughed lightly at her own stumble. "You look like you've seen a ghost, Alden." Alden, that's me, 34, software engineer, stable, predictable, the kind of guy who knows exactly how many hours of sleep he needs to function. I don't stay out all night. I don't drink until sunrise. I don't come home looking like a collapsed star. But apparently my wife did. I swallowed hard. "Where were you?" She shrugged, wobbling as she held the counter. "Out with friends." Nothing crazy, yet she could barely stand. "It's 8 in the morning, Mariel." "So?" she snapped. "Adults can have fun." Before I could respond, someone banged on the front door. Quick, sharp, intrusive. I opened it to find our neighbors Rowan and Jasper standing there like they'd been waiting all night for a chance to witness drama. "We saw someone stumbling into your house," Rowan said, eyes wide. "Everything okay?" Jasper added, "Looked like Mariel. Just checking." Of course they were. They always were. Mariel staggered behind me and leaned against the door frame. "You two are adorable," she muttered. "Go home, I'm fine." They didn't move. If anything, they leaned closer. "What happened?" Rowan whispered, practically salivating for chaos. I sighed, a long, controlled exhale. My wife, drunk beyond recognition, my neighbors acting like paparazzi. It was too much. A strange calm settled over me. "Mind your own business," I said flatly. Rowan blinked as if slapped. "We're trying to help." "I didn't ask for help," I replied. "Please go home." They exchanged a dramatic glance and finally left, undoubtedly ready to spread a story before reaching their kitchen. I shut the door and turned back to Mariel. She was on the floor now, slumped against the wall. Knees pulled close, eyes fixed downward like she wasn't sure who those legs belonged to. "You shouldn't have talked to them like that," she murmured. "And you shouldn't have come home like this," I said quietly. Her head snapped up. "Don't start, Alden. I don't need a lecture. I wasn't angry." "Not yet. Just confused. Tired. Hurt in a slow, heavy way that doesn't fully rise but weighs everything down." "This isn't normal," I said. She laughed bitterly. "Define normal." Normal was her coming home sober. Normal was her communicating. Normal was her safe in my arms by midnight, not stumbling in at dawn. But I didn't say all that. Instead, I reached out my hand. She didn't take it. "Alden," she whispered, her voice trembling. "You don't understand." I knelt down beside her, lowering my voice. "Then help me understand." Her eyes filled with something raw. Fear, guilt, shame. I couldn't tell. Only that it was heavy. "Alden, something happened last night," she whispered. "And I don't know how to tell you." My chest tightened. "Something happened. You don't ignore those words. You don't dismiss that tone." I sat beside her quietly. "Tell me." She swallowed hard, wiping at her eyes but missing. Her coordination was shot. "I didn't plan to stay out," she whispered. "I went for drinks with friends after work and then, I don't know. I drank too much, too fast. I wasn't thinking." "That's not an explanation," I said softly. "It's just what you did." She curled her fingers tight around the hem of her dress. "I'm scared of what you'll think of me." "Whatever it is," I said. "I'd rather hear the truth from you than guesses from anyone else." She flinched. "Alden," I didn't cheat on you. The statement hit me like a knife, not because I believed she had cheated, but because she felt she needed to say it first. I didn't ask that, I replied. I know, she whispered, voice cracking, but I saw it in your eyes. I didn't argue. Maybe I had wondered just for a split second. Anyone would have. She leaned her head back, staring at the ceiling like she wished it would swallow her whole. I was trying to forget something. Forget what? She hesitated. Then came the truth she'd been drowning all night to avoid. My father. My chest tightened. Her father? The man who vanished from her life at 12 years old? The man who suddenly called 3 weeks ago after more than a decade of silence. He called me last night, she said, her voice small. Said he was in town? Wanted to meet. I felt her tremble as she spoke. I didn't tell you, she continued, because I didn't know how to feel. I thought maybe he'd changed. Maybe he'd apologize. Maybe he'd at least ask something about my life. Her laugh was bitter. But all he did was brag, talk about himself, his life. His successes. He didn't ask about Mom, about me. Not once. She covered her face with her hands. So I drank, she whispered, to get through it. And when he left early for his flight, he walked out like I was just some stranger in a bar. Her voice cracked. And then I felt stupid and small and pathetic. And I didn't want to come home and tell you that I let him hurt me again. Silence filled the room, not sharp or angry, just heavy with understanding. Why didn't you call me? I asked. Tears slipped down her cheeks. Because you're steady, she said. You always know what to say, and I didn't want you to see me breaking over a man who never deserved my love. I reached for her hand again. This time she let me hold it. Mariel, I whispered, being steady doesn't mean I want you to face storms alone. She looked at me then, truly looked, and something in her expression cracked. I'm sorry, she breathed, for scaring you, for coming home like that, for the neighbors. For all of it. I squeezed her hand gently. I don't care about the neighbors, her breath hitched. I thought you'd be angry, she admitted. I was, I said honestly, not at you, at the situation. At the fact that you felt you had to carry it alone. Her forehead pressed into my shoulder, her body shaking. I don't want to be like him, she whispered. Running, avoiding, hurting the people who love me. You're not like him, I said softly. Not even close. Navigating these hidden pains in a relationship is tough. Communication is key, but so is compassion. If you or someone you know is struggling with family trauma or difficult emotions, reaching out for help is a sign of strength. There are resources like therapy and support groups that can make a real difference. You don't have to carry these burdens by yourself. Thanks for listening. If this story resonated with you, subscribe for more content about the real, messy, and beautiful parts of life.